Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today, we have Orzala Quddusi, who is a B2B client engagement specialist, helping small business owners keep their current and prospective clients engaged, leveraging social media and email marketing. So we're going to dive in and learn, how do you make all of this happen? So Orzala, welcome.
Thank you, Byron, and thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Sure. So how did you get into this world of working with that B2B client engagement? Because people have different paths. It's kind of like, it's not like, you think back to when you're deciding what you want to do. It's like, B2B engagement. That sounds interesting. Okay, I'll go with that one.
It's funny. I never thought I will be where I am today in terms of when I look back. I was at a point of my life where I had a degree in bachelor's of commerce. I had 5 years of marketing experience in a corporate world, and I was home with my second child. And at that time, I was the kind of person that I've always worked most of my life since I was 15. For me, being at home on a maternity leave on my second child, I didn't go as well as I planned in terms of just for myself and my self-growth. I didn't want it to be a stay-at-home mom. Even though prior to having my second child, I did decided that I was going to do that. And while I was looking into options as to what I wanted to do, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was in high school, and that was the reason that I get into to do a bachelor's of commerce. And I felt like this was kind of my time to do my own business, or it was never going to happen. While I researched, I spent a lot of nights till late on the computer researching different businesses and seeing what is it that I can come up with. I was looking at eBay, just buying and selling things there. It was different options there, and I kind of I just gave up and went into saying, you know what, I'll just put this to rest for now, and maybe I will focus on learning something new. Since my background is in marketing, I was researching and I came across the Quddusi, the website, and I came across and then I checked in and I saw the university, and I thought, hey, this would be something that I might like just to learn. I've always been somebody that likes to learn new things. I started the university, and I was in the beginning, when you start something new, you just go. I did that, and I was really fascinated. I basically fell in love with the social media, because the time that I went to school, when I went to university, there was no courses about social media. There was no social media that existed at that time. So for me, having the marketing background and kind of applying it to what I was learning in terms of online that I could do it was really fascinating. And at the time, again, it wasn't even clicking that, hey, I can do this as a business. For me, it was just, I was so kind of into it, of learning something new. That excitement was there. I did that. I did the Quddusi University, and in the meantime, any articles that would be about social media, any webinars, any courses online, I'll kind of jump on that and take it, because I just wanted to learn more and more. It was something new for me, and I wanted to know more about it. What happened is that my younger one was ready to go to school full time, and I wanted to go back to the corporate world. That's what I was thinking of doing. And at the same time, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do that, since I do live in a small town. For me to get a nice corporate job, I do have to commute for an hour into downtown, and I wasn't too sure about doing that. One night, just sitting there and searching for different business ideas, so I get back on researching different business ideas to do. And I said, well, why can't what I learned in social media, why can't I put that together with my background in marketing and make it work for me? And in that moment, so in that moment right away, I went online and registered my business. And that's why I came up with the name Make It Happen Services.
Oh, that's a great way to do it. I mean, what other way to do it other than make it happen?
That's right. So that's what, to me, that's what it is. The business was to make it happen for myself, and yeah, it was to make it happen for myself, for my family, and it kind of worked in a way that to make it happen for my clients now.
So now, when you got started, I mean, that's just going to a totally new venture. You know, you're in the corporate world, you're raising your children, and then suddenly it's like, this entrepreneur thing. I think I'm going to make it happen. No pun intended here, of course. but but you did it. What was it like in the beginning? You know, you decided to do this. Like, all right, great, I'm in business. Now I need customers.
I know. It was disappointing.
Oh no.
Well, I had to, so I registered a business. I went and that's the first thing I did was I went and have a Facebook page for my business. I was in the beginning, I was really excited. So I have a Facebook page, and then eventually I worked on a website, and then I'm like, whoa, now what should I do? And,
Right.
and that, yes, at that point where somebody who is, again, I was 27 at that time. I was a young entrepreneur, and I wasn't too sure. I've never done networking before in the past in my line of work. So for me, it was a little scary to go out there and to network. I basically went online and searched for networking groups locally, the small networking groups that are around. And I just went there. I was really scared and nervous, but I had to do what I had to do. I had to make it happen. So I went and went to one of the networkings. The people that were there, the other business owners, they were really pleasant and amazing to me. The fact that I've started new and they were encouraging me. And I thought, hey, there's something now for me.
Oh, that's great. So now, when you went to these networking events, and then you were kind of scared. Why were you scared? Was it like just because there's all these people that you walk in the room, they're looking at you going, "Hi, stranger person, come talk to us and tell us about your business."
To me, yes, I was intimidated because I felt like here I am a newbie and I'm a young entrepreneur. There was nobody in my age in those networking events, a lot of older people that have gone through a lot of businesses. And I was just like, I was a little intimidated by those people. And it's funny now they're kind of, we have built relationship over the years with the same people that I was intimidated with by.
Right.
It was, for me, yes, it was scary. It's scary, I think, for a young entrepreneur when you go in there and everybody's way older than you are, and you are also new, where everybody else had few businesses under their belt in terms of, well, I've done this, they've done that. They've been an entrepreneur all their life.
Right. As that had to be an adjustment. You know, you're in that moment there. They're looking at you, and you're just the new person. How did you start breaking the ice so that way? Here's these people who've been in business for a while. They've had several businesses, and you're the newbie on the block, and you're going to educate them. How did you start providing value to them so they said, "Ooh, I like what you have"?
Well, it's funny because the way when I talked about social media, my age kind of worked in my advantage because a lot of the older people didn't know a lot about social media. So for them, they wanted to work with somebody that was young and knew everything about social media because it was something that was really new to them. So I didn't realize that walking in that that's what's going to happen, but that's what it started to happen, where my age actually was more in my advantage of people wanting to do business with me.
Oh, excellent. That makes all the difference in the world when you leverage what you might think be a hindrance and turn it into your biggest asset.
And that's right. It just turned out like that. And after that, it did take me a year to get my first client, as I wasn't pushing the business full time. It was more part time, just based on the schedule that I had. But once I got that one client, I had more success in terms of more referrals coming in.
So now, why did it take a year to get that first client when you're working at part time? Were you just going to meetings every now and then, or did it just take that long to do it?
What happened was that I wasn't able to do like evening networkings. I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff that I could do. And at the same time, when all this was happening, I was in a marriage that wasn't going anywhere, and that was part of the fact that I was held back.
Ah, okay. So That makes a big difference. And so, because you didn't have that support, how would you say that really affected what you're able to do? Because you're raising, two children, you didn't have the support in your marriage. Would you say that really drug you down in the process?
It did, because the way my husband then saw it, that okay, I need to be making money now, and a lot of money.
Hmm.
He was somebody, he had more the employee thinking, and I had more the entrepreneur thinking. So that kind of didn't go through, where he was just like, no, maybe you should go get a job. And obviously, if I had I would get an actual job, I would be making a lot of more money than I was in the business. But in terms of that, it was kind of something that was, I felt like I wasn't doing, like I was failing, because I was always constantly told to go and get a job.
Right. Support means everything in the world, because if you don't have it and you have someone just instilling negative thoughts, the sense of doubt, it makes it harder. You think about it, whether you believe you can or can't, you're right. So you need some people to believe in you to make it work.
That's right. And it's hard when you have like the person closest to you that lives in the same household doesn't believe in you, or the business venture that you've taken.
Right. It makes you think about different things. I look at some of these, your biggest companies out there, and you think about things like Microsoft, Apple, and the list goes on and on. At what would those companies be today if the people who started them didn't have that type of support, that they had people giving them those doubts? Would we have those same products today? Probably not.
That is true, yes. But one thing with me is like I didn't give up. I was just determined to make it happen. Like I said, I have wanted to, like I said in before, I wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was in high school, and I felt like this was my calling and this was my time to shine.
Hmm.
So I kept going, even though I didn't get support from home. I did end up meeting a business coach in one of the networking events, and I got a lot of support and motivation from her.
Having that right coach and mentor makes all the difference in the world, because they're the ones who keep us motivated. Because you think about it, it's not just having the coach or the mentor, it's having the environment where you're plugging into the supportive group of people. Because you think about your friends that you have right now, how many of them would you say have the employee mindset, and how many have the entrepreneur mindset?
It's funny. Over the years, I have my friendships have filtered out, where a lot of friends that I have, they're all entrepreneurs. But yes, there is few friends that are there that they do have the employee mindset, where they just don't feel like it's entrepreneurship is for
Right.
them, or it's not good for anybody.
Right, exactly. It's the same thing with me. If over the years, the friendships I have, so many are entrepreneurs, and they're go-getters, they're making things happen. Where if people were to look at some of these conversations, I think, oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. Like, no, we just like living life on our terms.
That's right, and I get that. Going like, oh my god, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you stay up so late, to work on your business, and then you juggle your kids and everything else, and then you want to be at a networking event, just all that. But at the end of the day, this is what I enjoy, being an entrepreneur, and that's what I want to do.
Right. You have to enjoy it. That's the bottom line, because too many times we do things that we don't enjoy, and then we're miserable. Because you think about how many people, they go through life doing things that they don't enjoy because it's the safe option, and they're unfulfilled.
That's right. That's so true. Yes, it's just, to me, that's the one thing I've learned from my coach, was like to get myself out of my comfort zone. And for me, obviously, my business venture has been one of the biggest things in my life that has got me out of my comfort zone. And I have seen like a lot of great things happen when you come out of your comfort zone.
Oh, right, exactly. If you're living in your comfort zone, you're never going to expand what you're capable of doing. Because you think about growth, it happens outside of it. As long as you're inside of it, everything's the same. You're not doing anything that's new. You're not doing anything scary. It's kind of like eating the same food every single day. You're not trying anything different, because you want to have, let's say, a bowl of oatmeal, because you know it's consistent each and every time. That as long as you boil the water for for 5 minutes or something like that, you add in the mix, it's going to come out perfect. It's not going to create growth.
And nope. And I feel like a lot of people that have the employee mentality, and that's what it is with them. They're comfortable in that environment.
Right. Because as long as there's comfortable, that comfort mindset, there's not much anybody can do. So when you decided to break out of this and you're growing your business, what were some of those defining moments that propelled you to start creating the growth that you needed to make it into what your business is today?
I think one of the biggest moments was the fact that once I started getting referrals from different people that I've networked with. To me, I didn't realize that I had a big support system in the community that wanted to send business my way. And it was all like about building relationship, that I build relationship just going to different networking events.
Right. And I think that's something that people tend to underestimate the power of as relationships. That it's not the quantity that matters, it's the quality of them, the strength of the relationships that determine how well people will want to refer you.
That's right. And for me, that was one of the biggest thing. Like right now, 90% of my business comes from referrals, which is, for me, that's amazing. It's not only my clients, it's the people that I've collaborated with or people that I've known through the networking. It's just not only clients for me. So it's been an amazing way of looking at it. And that's where it got me into focusing more on building the online community and the engagement part for social media.
Right. So, with this online component of it, how have you been leveraging that with the businesses? Because for them, it's all about expanding their reach. Because you think about that at local networking events, there's only so many people any one person's ever going to come in contact with. But then when you look at online and Facebook, hey, look, congratulations, there's close to 1.8 billion people on the network around the world. How do you start tapping into that to bring some of that business your way?
Well, I've joined different groups, but I've joined them strategically where I've done a little research and look at the group descriptions and see if they're for me. And also, I have joined some of the groups that I had other business owners that were in them, and they were like, "Oh, this might be good for you." Again, that whole building relationship, where they said, "Hey, this group might be good for you of what you do," and they kind of referred me to that group to go there and join. So for me, groups have been an amazing way on Facebook to kind of get out there and grow my business.
Right. It makes all the difference in the world when you have that, because you want to be around the right people. So how did you research the groups? Because there's so many groups out there. There's pretty much a group on just about anything. If you are interested in, I don't know, paper bags, you could probably find a group on Facebook about paper bags.
That's right. Yes, I know. There's group for everybody's like having their own groups these days as well. That's another thing. A lot of people they wanna kind of create their own groups too. For me, it's more I wanted to look at my target market and I researched groups based on that. So my target market is small business owners that are just a solopreneur, because I like to work with small businesses. I feel like when I was in the corporate world, we had a whole department dedicated to marketing, and when you're an entrepreneur, it's just you doing everything.
Right.
So
that is so true.
That's right. So to me, it's important and I have just different groups that I've basically researched on Facebook, just typing in different small business owners, different ways of just different keywords that I've used to search some groups, and basically reading the description and seeing if it was. And for me, some groups are open so you can actually see the posts. And the ones that are closed, there's hit and miss. You join them and then you see they're not as active as you thought they were, and I leave.
So you actually leave groups then?
Well, if they're not as active as I thought they were, I leave. Because there's some groups that all they do is people are just posting promotions.
Oh, yes. Ugh. That just gives me the shivers thinking about it.
Yeah, so that's all they do, and they've left it open where anybody can just post promotions. Like, I don't want to be in a group like that where people are just promoting at me. I want a group that actually you can interact, and there's an engagement going on there.
Right. Well, it makes all the difference in the world when you can have access to the people, but the purpose of a group where people are only posting things and no one's listening or engaging, it defeats the purpose. I mean, I've seen some groups where they say, "Oh, we have 30,000 people in here. You can promote your business." you might as well be in an arena in a shouting match. No one's going to hear anything, and that's what it is.
That's right. Yes, and part of it, a lot of it, you might have like people promoting from different like countries, just promoting stuff that you have no clue, or they're just spammers in there. So to me, it's just a waste of time in
Right.
terms of to be part of that group where it's not really doing me anything or for my business.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's something that people have to embrace. It's not the size of the group that matters because when you look at some groups, there's some out there which are very large, but what ends up happening over time is the engagement tends to drop because there's nothing in there to reinvigorate it. If it's the same pattern over and over again, guess what happens? Nothing.
That's right. Yes, and that's where to me it's always the quality over the quantity. And I say the same thing even with social media, where people are really obsessed over how many likes they got on their Facebook page. If you got 1,000 likes and they're not really doing anything for your business, or they're not really interacting with the posts, there's no point of having 1,000 likes when nobody's really doing anything. To
Right.
me, that's how I look at it.
Right, exactly. You have to have the engagement factor because it's missing in so many capacities, whether it's a group, it's a page, or whatever. And it comes down to having valuable information, things that people want to know about. Because you look at how much fluff is put out there, things that your target market doesn't care about. So when you're working with your clients, how do you determine what they should be sharing on social media so people take interest in it versus going, whatever, and keep going?
I basically do an audit of their social media before even we do the first consultations to look at it. What is it that they are doing currently, and what is it that I can do for them in terms of the content? And a lot of the times, the way I look at is I get some during the consultations, I get some small business owners where they're obsessed with getting sales from social media right away, where they'll be like, oh, so am I going to get a sale out of this like next week or this month? And to me, I don't work with small business owners where they don't value community, building an online community. It does take time to build an online community, but it pays off at the end.
Right. And that's important because depending on what type of thing it is, there's the types of products that people will want to buy right away. And that's what I like to say that it's something that's a high demand and it's a low trust offer, meaning that it's something people would want to give it a shot, but they don't have, in terms of trust, it's not like they have to develop this long relationship. A great example is, let's say, a pizza restaurant. If someone's, if it's a Friday night, people are just wanting to relax, like, and someone sees an offer for pizza, like, oh, that sounds good. In all probability, you're willing to at least give it a shot because it's something of value and that you need. Versus, let's say that you need to spend $10,000 to repair your air conditioner. You're going to want to know a little bit more about this process than instead of going, well, I saw a coupon online, so I think this will work. You're not going to jump in it right away.
That is so true. And a lot of the businesses that I work with, they are service-based businesses. They don't have a product. So for them, having that community is really important, that they can, that their followers can trust them before they use their services.
Right. I like to use the example of, if you're dating someone, just kind of picture like we're just in a bar right now, and we're sitting there, and if you were to see a guy walk up to a woman at the bar, and he's not said a single word to her, but it just says, "Hey, your place or mine," in all probability, the outcome is not going to go well at all.
No.
But you think about, but you think how many times this happens in business where there's no communication. It's just that first moment of meeting somebody. It's like, hey, I can fix all your problems in the world. You just need to give me $10,000. Most people are going to look at them and go, are you nuts? Insert explicative. And
That's right. I actually had a client that hired somebody from overseas. And the person that he hired, basically all he was posting was promotional posts every single day. Just pushing in the
Oh,
30 minutes free consultation, 30 minutes free consultation, 30 minutes free consultation.
that's crazy. It's kind of like if you just had like a used car salesman following around, like, "Hey, ready to buy a car? Hey, ready to buy a car? Hey, ready to buy a car?" Like, no, I'm on the bus. You're sitting there. Ready to buy a car? We're on the bus. Seriously? But that's what happens if you're
Well,
doing
that's yeah,
that.
that's what it is. It just turns off the audience that you have or the followers that you have in terms of. I mean, to me, like when I looked at the businesses that I look at, I always put myself in the place of the audience and their target market. What would I do if somebody did that to me in terms of if I see a post like that? And for me, that would just be a complete no in terms of I would probably unfollow the person, the page, and that's how I look at it. And there are some people that does that. Or I had worked with another client that had a previous person that was doing work, they were doing work with, and all she was doing was pushing articles after articles after articles every
Hmm.
single day.
Right. So based on that, what should people be posting? Because you have people thinking, if I'm not pushing my offer every single day, what is it that people will want from me? Like, you're a person, dude. Seriously?
Well, what I do with my clients is that actually really works for them, and is I we post different tips. We post. I make it. It could be something that's funny, that's related to industry. So there's some humor there. And I do post articles, but it's their own blog posts. If they're blogging and they have a website, I would rather promote their own blog post than picking articles from
Hmm.
somewhere else. And also, I'm big on sharing other people's content that is maybe relevant to your audience in terms of, and that's where the relationship building part comes. I always ask my clients to
Right.
give me a list of people that they like to work with or that they are collaborating with, because what happens is I always share their content because we want
Right.
to support, you want to give
Exactly.
before you get.
Right. And I think that's something that people miss out on, this concept of giving, because people just want to just take until there's nothing left. Like, if you share, it changes everything.
That's right. So for me, that is a big aspect of it. Another big aspect of it is locally that I work with small business owners. A lot of business owners, they like to be involved in the community. So a lot of nonprofits. And that's something that I also do as well, where I collaborate the nonprofit part of it and bring it online. So they show the other side of their business where they can, that's what they do. They give back in the community.
Right. And I think that's something that is often underrepresented in the world, that people don't think of the ways that they can make the impact. Because if you look at people, sometimes the distinguishing factor is they'll do business with someone because they support a charity, a nonprofit, that it's important to them as the consumer. To go, well, I'm going to give my business to that guy because just by doing so, it means that I'm also supporting my favorite charity over here, which changes the game entirely.
It does. And a lot of people, they want to see that you are like a lot of brands. It's all about their products and stuff. They want to see that you're human or you have a personality in terms of, even for me, working with small businesses where they are small business owners and they're out in the community doing things. So it's good for that, for their audience to see that they are doing these things, and that a lot of people, they don't want to put that in there.
Right. Exactly. People want that, but it's stepping outside of that comfort zone that we might be used to, because we're entering the era where people are socially conscious consumers, and they want to know how they can make that impact. How can they lift up the entire community so it's not just about them? Because at some point or another, people think about how a charity impacted their life in one way or another. And the more people give back, the more everything improves, instead of it just being, it is all about me. I am now emperor and you are my minions and you're going to do my things. We have to distance ourselves from that model of
That's right,
business.
and a lot of people, they don't do that, and a lot of the clients that I have, they are the one that kind of have the same mindset as I do in terms of the community based and the engagement part of it, and that's why they work with me, because they want to build that online community. It is called social media for a reason, right? We need to be social in there, as in we have to interact, and it takes two people to be social and to interact, right? To go both ways.
Right. We have to be social, and it's something that people have forgotten about, that we've gotten lazy in some capacity, thinking that if I just do 5 posts a day or follow some formula like this, that means that people are going to want to engage with it. Like, well, no. So when you're posting on behalf of these brands on their pages and such, how are you attracting the engagement? Because ultimately, if no one's engaging, it's just a matter of like a tree falling in a forest with no one around. So did it fall? And that's what's happening with a lot of businesses.
That's right. How I attract engagement is mainly through the posts that I do. Like I said, I do various posts that are educational, entertaining, and so for me, it's that. And also, I do utilize the groups that they are in. So it's not only the page that I focus on, and I also utilize the groups that they are in.
Yeah.
So that's another way of taking it to the other level is the groups. Because a lot of the clients that I work with, they don't have time they just post something on their page, but they don't have time to utilize and use the groups and kind of get the engagement and the conversation going at different groups that they want to.
Right. So within these groups, what is it that you're posting that drives the engagement factor? Because that's something that's different than what most people are going to do, other than just posting like, here, I have an offer. And I know you're not going to see it because there's 10,000 other people posting the same thing in here every single day. So what are you putting in the groups to make your clients stand out?
For me, what I do in the groups is that it could be a question that they're asking. And also it could be a quote that they're sharing, something motivational. But it's not something that's repetitive every day. It's just you're kind of dripping in different groups at not a lot, not too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to me, I just do small things like that, and it's worked. For my clients, it's worked. So just I do right now. I don't do a lot of postings. It's just something inspirational and asking questions. And when you ask a question in group, there's a lot of people, they always answer.
Right. Sometimes you wonder about the answers, like that was a little detailed, and others you have no idea what someone is trying to get at. Like, I know that you answered, but what you answered with, no one knows.
That's right. But then at the same time, you might get some people. To me, it's more to get yourself stand out in the group, because a lot of people don't do that. Like you said, a lot of people just likes to promote themselves. It's not about other people. You just want to share something that's useful for them. Like, for example, a quote that might motivate them throughout the day, something that you want to share that's maybe about success or about entrepreneurship, or the fact that we do a question. It could be something that, again, it could be anything. It could be a question asking about, maybe tell about your successes for the week. Like maybe it's Friday and that's what you want to ask everybody. Again, we're all entrepreneurs, and a lot of us, we work where we're kind of like, we don't have big teams of people to bounce ideas off of each other, or to talk, even to just talk how maybe we just got a new client and we want to share that. Just things like that. It doesn't happen where if we were at a corporate level or even an office where we had more employees, we would be able to share a lot of stuff with them.
Right, exactly. That's what we want to be able to do. It's to mimic the audiences that we would have in that corporate world, because that makes all the difference. If you think about most entrepreneurs, where they tend to lose the effectiveness is that you have to be social in some capacity, because we just instinctively, we are social beings, and we have to have that interconnectedness. So the more we tap into it to share our victories, or share the times we stumble, the more we're able to appear realistic to people, and the more people are going to be attracted to us because of it.
That's right. And because of that, to me, that's what it is. Once you build that community, now all of a sudden you don't have to do a lot of work, where they will be the one sharing your content, and they'll be the one kind of referring people your way and mentioning you. Because once they feel you attract the right, and that's what it is, you need to attract the right people that fits for your business.
Right, exactly. Because everybody has the ideal type of person to attract in their business. And that's something that's really important that we talk about. It's that it doesn't matter the type of business, there's not a single brand on earth that's products will be sought after by everybody.
That's right. Yes, that doesn't happen. Yeah, no.
Right.
And unfortunately, there are some people that does that, where their target market is everybody.
Right. And since the only way someone could have a product that would target everybody is if they had a monopoly on this thing known as air. But since that's freely available to everyone here, you're just going to have to come up with something else and be more specific with the marketplace.
That's right. Yep, that's right. It's really good to kind of specialize in something, and that's another thing that I encourage my clients is to have that specialization, and that not everybody on social media is your client, so it's okay if you don't attract everybody.
Right. Because, I hear that so many times. I'll be listening to a presentation that says, our product can help everybody. It doesn't matter what the product is. Everybody, since there's no one that I know of with the name everybody. Now I'm going to be kind of curious, like start looking at, registries across the world. Like, is someone named everybody? Because that'd be kind of creepy that someone would do that to their kid. Like, I'm going to torture you for your whole life by naming you everybody. Good luck. But when you think about it, everybody is not the target audience. It's going to be somebody, a particular niche, a sub niche that's going to resonate with it, because it doesn't matter what it is. It's just the way it goes. Think of like coffee as an example. There's going to be some people who are going to swear by going to Starbucks. But as you're in Canada, some people look at Starbucks like, no, we have to go to Tim Hortons instead.
Oh yeah, we're big Tim Hortons lovers here in terms of when it comes to coffee, that's where everybody likes to go. Tim Hortons. Right. We love our Tim Hortons.
So when you think about that, is many people like here in the U.S. that love Starbucks at the same time? If I was to just walk down the street and ask just 10 random people, hey, do you know what Tim Hortons is? I'd probably get the response of, Tim who? They would have no idea.
That's right.
So if there's something as universal as that, then we have to make sure that for whatever our business is, we're focused on a target audience. Because while one product might be popular in one part of the world, you go a short distance away, no one will ever have heard of it.
That is really true. And also to me, it's also the fact that even with the way social media is done, the marketing styles might be different. I know a lot of people they might not understand the style here. For them, it might be different.
Right. Everything's different in different parts of the world.
That's right. Yes. So that the way I look at it is that you need to kind of be, and then that's what it is. You need to be true to who you are, and you'll attract the right people, even in terms of your clients. I have a lot of times I've said to some clients that I didn't want to work with them again because they were not the right fit for me, and because they didn't see what, in terms of the social media, the online community and everything, for them, they see social media as like, I need sales. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want it to work with clients or businesses that kind of have that approach when it comes to social media.
Right. And that's the thing. We have to look at community building first, because if we don't build a community of people around us online and offline, then it makes it so much more difficult for people to want to do business with us, because you look at your major brands out there, people have built up that rapport and trust. You think about the types of shoes that people wear. Typically, people like to wear the same brand of shoes over and over again. Like with jeans, as an example. You like the way a certain style looks and feels and fits. So you tend to stick to a certain set of them because you know the outcome. Because people love certainty in the world. They don't like uncertainty in many things. People will embrace uncertainty in things like trying a new appetizer, going to a new restaurant. But then when things start getting inside that little square box where people operate out of, oh no, they want to be familiar with it. So they want to invite things into it. Then once you're there, you're there. You think about the types of cars people drive. How many people do you know they drive the same manufacturer of car for decades? They don't want to switch. They might drive a different model, but they always stick with that same brand.
That is true. That is really true. And that's what it is. To me, the community, yes, it does take time building it. It's like any community. It's like building your business. It takes time to build it. But once you get to a certain point, it kind of pays off.
Right. Exactly. That's the key to it. So as we begin wrapping everything up here, what's one thing that you recommend business owners and entrepreneurs do to be able to grow their business and attract clients online?
One thing that I would say is to have a plan. a lot of business owners,
having a plan is important.
yes, a lot of business have a plan with clear objectives. I should say that. Because a lot of business owners, they just rush in. They're just like, oh my God, today is, let's say, Monday, and I haven't done anything. I haven't posted anything. They don't have a strategy and a plan in place when it comes to online marketing and social media, where they will just throw anything in because they just need to post something today. They have to have a plan ahead of time, as in where they want to go and what is it that they want to achieve from their social media. And they need to have clear goals. I've sat down with clients where I would ask them about their goals and they would be like, I don't know. So clear goals would be like, for example, I want to get this many interactions from Facebook, or maybe they're promoting their their newsletter and they want to get this many subscribers coming from Facebook. So it needs to be more in terms of the goals, and the objectives should be in a way that you can measure them. And a lot of the small business owners that I work with they don't work like that. In their business, they just have the goals, but they don't have the breakdown of them into smaller goals.
Right. You have to have actionable goals that way, where they're attainable, because one of the challenges so many businesses will create is, we're going to create these big, massive goals. And these things are so big. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to, climb one of the tallest mountains in the world. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, I'm going to climb that mountain. How are you going to get there? No idea. But we focus on that instead of, how about you get to where the base camp is, and then you can get to the top. Because if you're going to scale Mount Everest, well, you have to do it in stages. You just can't decide, we're just going to go straight to the top. You probably won't make it. So you have to do it in phases. And that's the way we have to look at our business. How do we do those things in phases, with establishing goals and ultimately having a plan? You're not going to go climb a mountain like that in shorts and a t-shirt.
That's right. That's right. I know. And that's the thing with a lot of the bigger companies. They have a whole department working towards these goals, and they're setting the goals that are smaller goals that are measurable. And where with small businesses, I think with the entrepreneurship, we get that excitement. Like once we have an idea, I see that with a lot of my clients. Once they have this idea that comes in their head, they just want to run with it, but they don't necessarily know how. They just want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. And in terms of goal setting, they just say, well, I just want to do this. But they don't break it down into the stages that can get you there.
Right. Exactly. So, well, I want to thank you for coming on to the Big Movement podcast today. How can people reach out to you and learn more about what you do and how you help businesses improve their presence online to attract clients and customers?
Well, thank you for having me once again. They can visit my website, which is mihservices.ca, which stands for Make It Happen Services. And also, I'm always on Facebook. They can check my Facebook page, which is Make It Happen Services, and they are free to send me any messages that they would like.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you once again for coming on to the podcast today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.